Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It is NFL mock draft season, and today I'm super excited to bring to you the Washington Commanders 2024 NFL mock draft. They have a ton of picks, and I feel like I'm playing Madden or something. We're doing a creative roster with the Commanders, who really struggled last year. They were 4-13, 25th in points scored, 32nd in points allowed. They need help in a lot of places. I'm concentrating on quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback, safety, and defensive line, especially edge rushers. Okay, let's get into this draft. The Chicago Bears, as most people expect, are taking Caleb Williams. And for me, with Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn at the helm, I'm a firm believer that they're going to go with the one and only JAYDEN Daniels, who was incredible last year. 3,800 passing yards. He completed over 79% of his passes. 92 pass grade, intermediate grade 89, deep ball 99 grade. That's one of the highest grades I've ever seen for the deep ball in the history of covering the NFL. JAYDEN Daniels is big. He's tall. He's a little slender at 6'4", 210 pounds. I would like to see him put on 10 pounds. I don't want to see him at 225, 230 pounds. He doesn't need to be big like Cam Newton. 220, it looks like a good ideal weight. The number one pick for the Washington Commanders is JAYDEN Daniels. All right. The Washington Commanders are picking twice in the second rounds. Pick 36, which is the fourth pick, and pick 40, which is the eighth pick of the second round. I really like to address the wide receiver position. People are going to be like, you have Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. We don't need a wide receiver. Well, Dotson, the number one pick in 2022. He's 5'11", 182. He's played about half of his snaps in the slot, half outside. And last year, 49 catches, 518 yards. He hasn't been very productive. What the Commanders need is a big outside receiver to pair next to Terry McLaurin. McLaurin is only 6 foot, 210 pounds. So that's why I love Troy Franklin, the wide receiver out of Oregon. Huge monster year in 2023. 84 grade, 81 receptions, 1,383 yards. And guys, look at this size. 6'3", 187 pounds. He needs to gain a little bit of weight. I would like to see him coming into camp around 200 pounds. But at 6'3", you get that big-time outside receiver. Franklin, a former four-star wide receiver recruit, played all 14 games in his true freshman season at Oregon and started every game in his sophomore and junior year. He is a smooth strider and vertical receiver. He really gives the Commanders a big vertical threat. And then you could put Dotson in the slot permanently. Dotson, Franklin, and Terry McLaurin, they are some serious weapons for JAYDEN Daniels. I love that pick. This guy will not last much longer. That's why he's going at number 40 for me, the second round pick, number 4 pick of the second round, Troy Franklin. Unfortunately, some of the guys I was circling, like Zach Frazier and Brandon Fiske, got picked in between the 36 and 40 picks. So now we have the Washington Commanders up at pick number 8 in the second round. There's a couple guys I like. Lassiter, the cornerback. I like Jordan Morgan, the tackle. I don't love him. I think he might slide a little bit. Ennis Rakestraw Jr., the cornerback out of Missouri, is really talented as well. Very consistent over the last 2 years. Solid corner. Run defense, a sure tackler, 89 grade. 78.7 against the run. 78.7 against the pass. Chris Braswell, edge defender, 13 sacks. It's hard to pass up this kind of production from the Alabama edge defender. They need some help at edge. I like Chris Braswell as my pick for the Washington Commanders. Shore up that edge. They let go Chase Young last year, and they let go Montez Sweat, so we need some help on the line. Edge defender Chris Braswell is my pick at number 40 in the second round. Here we are kicking off the third round. The Commanders have the third pick in the third round, and a guy that I'm circling is Jonathan Brooks, the running back from Texas. This dude's a monster. Yeah, sure, they brought in Austin Eckler as like a stopgap guy, but he's been getting less and less productive year after year. He'll be 29 in May, and a 29, 30-year-old is like 50 in running back years. So Jonathan Brooks, the running back from Texas, had an insane season. 187 attempts, 1,135 yards. He averaged 6.1 yards per attempt. He's averaged over 6 yards a carry his entire collegiate career. Elusiveness rating 140.3. This offense, with the additions we've made in the draft, is going to be absolutely disgustingly good. So that's why I'm taking Brooks. I'm not even thinking about it. There's some offensive line help later in the draft that we can kind of get some depth at some of these positions and maybe address cornerback and safety a little bit later in the draft. All right, at number 67, we're taking Jonathan Brooks. Next up, it's the third round pick number 14 for the Commanders. I really want to address the tackle position, and that's why I love Blake Fisher. All right, his grades aren't super insanely impressive, but he is a very good player, considering he's not even 21 years old yet. 6'6", 312. This dude's going to get even bigger. Fisher has the power to play at the pro level, but needs to get quicker to his landmark. He also needs to be more patient and balanced in his strikes to not get susceptible to NFL-level speed rushers. Okay, that is a pretty interesting critique, considering this guy isn't even 21 yet. So he's going to be able to get coached up. He's a solid run blocker, a really good pass blocker, and he's only going to learn and get better. The next guy, Patrick Paul, that I was considering, if you look at his age, he's going to be around 24 by the time the NFL season starts, right? So he's 3 years younger than Paul, and they're about at the same level. So I'll take the 21-year-old Blake Fisher in the third round, no doubt about it, to address the tackle position for the Commanders. It's crazy that the Commanders have another third-round pick number 37. So what is a position of need for the Commanders? We address quarterback, we address wide receiver. Let's take a look at safeties right now. We need some safety help. There's two guys on the board that are pretty high up. We can go Kalen Bullock from USC, Taki Smith, Cole Bishop, Bo Brady. Let's take a look at these guys, kind of break them down. We'll start with Bo Brady from Maryland. Not the highest grade last year, 67.8, 65 in coverage, 70 in run defense. It's not screaming at me right now. Let's check out Cole Bishop. 60 coverage grade, 67 run defense grade. Another guy, I'm not like blown away. Third round, I want to get a little more value if I can. Taki Smith. This is where it gets interesting. The Georgia Bulldog, 84 grade last year, 85.8 coverage grade, run defense grade, 73.3. Let's check out Bullock. Decent, but not quite the player. He's really bad against the run. That's why bringing in Taki Smith, the safety from Georgia, makes total sense here. Great value at the number 100 pick. I love it. All right, we don't pick again to the fifth round. This is the fourth pick in the fifth round. Number 139 overall. We're going to try to find some value here. Let's check out the tight end position. We might be able to find a decent tight end. They brought in Zach Ertz, who was originally with the Eagles. He played a little bit with Arizona, and now it looks like he's going to be the number one guy. So finding another pass-catching tight end is a big need for the Commanders. All right, Ben Sinnott, 48 receptions, 73 targets. That's a big disparity. Why so many incompletions to this guy? 669 yards, 2 drops, 81 receiving grade is pretty solid. Maybe his quarterback at Kansas State was just trash. We don't know. Theo Johnson, the tight end from Penn State, only 34 balls, 341 yards, receiving grade 67, not ideal. Dallin Holker, the tight end from Colorado State, caught some balls last year. 64 receptions, 766, 69 receiving grade. Let's check out Jaheim Bell. A little bit better. He was really good in 2021, man. but the production hasn't really increased. 75 receiving grade, run block grade 64. It looks like, I'm going to check out the guy from Michigan, 82 grade, but these guys are more run blocking guys. 81. I want a pass catching tight end. He's really good at run blocking, 76, and also a receiving grade of 81. Ben Sinnott is my guy. I'm taking a flyer on him in the 5th round to bring in some tight end depth for the Commanders. Next pick, 152 in the 5th round, which is the 17th pick. Do we have anyone in the interior defensive line that we could kind of take a flyer on? When you're drafting in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round, these guys are going to have some flaws. That's just where we're at in the draft. So we got to find some guys that could potentially contribute on special teams, or a guy who could, get coached up, grow, learn, looking for young players, This guy's, Logan Lee's got some good grades. Doesn't have his age on here. 6'5", 291. Decent size, not great size. Myles Murphy, not quite the player. 6'4", 310, a lot bigger. Juwan Briggs from Cincinnati. Okay, 2 sacks. Logan Lee, 2 sacks as well. He played 749 snaps. 3 years playing every single game for the Iowa Hawkeyes. That means not only is he a decent player, pretty good against the run, 80 grade, 70 against the pass, but he is healthy. You can't make the club if you're in the tub, right? So this guy plays all the games, and that's huge. This guy, in this type of situation, in that middle of the 5th round, Logan Lee's my guy. The Commanders got one more pick. It seems to be there's a lot of depth at center. Is anybody worth taking a flyer on? Hunter Nourzad, 74 grade. That's pretty good this late in the draft. Zone grade 79, run block 77. This guy, Tanner Bortolini from Wisconsin, a little better against the pass, but we need more run block help from a center. A guy like Travis Kelce that can, run block really well. I want my center to be able to run block. Another guy I like is Miles Harden, the cornerback from South Dakota, 76 grade last year. Pretty good. 7 forced incompletions, pretty good. Only 1 drop interception, 6 missed tackles. It's a little more than I like to see. A.J. Woods is still available, the corner out of Pitt. Man coverage grade 71, not too bad. But I really think the best value is Hunter Nourzad. Solid run blocker, solid zone grade. Pass block grade, I'm not as concerned with. He can get coached up a little bit, especially when you're drafted in the 7th round. That's it, guys. Wrapping it up. Hunter Nourzad, the center from Penn State, giving us a little more offensive line help for the Washington Commanders. All right, here are my grades from PFF. They gave Troy Franklin a C. I think they're valuing Jahan Dotson more than he is valued, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be a difference maker at the wide receiver position. And Troy Franklin gives you that big body, 6'3" guy on the outside. But edge defender, we crushed that. Chris Braswell got an A there. Jonathan Brooks, B+. Tackle Blake Fisher, A-. We crushed the 2nd and 3rd rounds, guys, and that's super important. And look, later in the draft, we did really, really well too. Super good. Tight end Ben Sinnott, Logan Lee, Hunter Nourzad really complimented our draft. B+ overall grade. I think this is a great haul and completely revamps this offense, man. We got our quarterback. We got a stud outside receiver in Troy Franklin. A great edge defender. And then the best running back in the draft, in my opinion, Jonathan Brooks. And a tackle in the late 3rd round that could potentially be a starter for us. Very, very killer draft for the Washington Commanders. I think if you're a Commanders fan, you'll be stoked with this haul. Let me know in the comments below. Are there any guys that you're circling later in the draft that you would like to see the Commanders pick up? Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much.